Hey, aloha, offline sharks. How we doing, everybody? Tom Gaddis here, coming to you from sunny Las Vegas. I am excited to be here. We have a great live show lined up for you today. I'm flying solo, but I have a special guest who was nice enough to come on at the last minute. I think you guys are going to love it. Somebody we haven't had on the live show before. So we're going to be able to ask questions. We're going to talk local marketing. Mainly, we're going to talk about how to run your business from anywhere. So I'm going to cue up the intro and I'll see you guys on the other side in a few minutes.
Are you ready for the fastest 60 minutes of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun on planet Earth? It's now time. The moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned. Broadcasting live from their island retreats, smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and now back for a brand new Sharks Live show. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Well, it's just Tom Gaddis today, but we'll let that slide. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Aloha Marketing Jam session. I'm super excited to be here. I got my new shirt for you guys. See that, Dad Hustle? I was walking around Summerlin, Vegas, and I saw the shirt, and I thought of the Sharks. I was like, I got to get that shirt for the live. So welcome, everybody. Aloha, Jacqueline, Suzette, Patty. Welcome. Hey, Bill. Excited you guys are here. So, I'm going to keep the intro part of this pretty tight. We're going to do some of our normal stuff, our shark shout outs, some things like that. I want to talk a little bit about running a business from anywhere. And then I want to get our guest out here so we can ask questions, talk about what he's got going on. I think you guys are going to be excited about that. So first, let me pull up the shout out. So every week on the live show, right? If you go to, let me find it here. You go to this link, offlinesharks.com/shoutouts. You're going to see our most recent shark shout out post. And we like to celebrate the wins people have in the group from the week before. So I've got that post pulled up. I'm going to turn on my camera here in a minute. But if you go there to that link, offlinesharks.com/shoutouts, and leave a comment. Let them know, hey, good job. Way to go. Congratulations. Like, share the love. Then at the end of this stream, the team's going to pick a few people out of those comments, and you're going to get some Cash App money. So we'll get some Cash App money. So go to there. You can leave your comments, and let's do some shark shout-outs. So here, I'm going to move this over here. Sorry, guys. Getting my screens organized here. Okay, I'm going to move this over here. That's what we're going to do. Okay. All right, here we go. Man, we have a lot of shout outs this week. That's awesome. Okay, here we go. I'm going to fire up my screen, share my screen. And oh, nope, that's the wrong one. You want to see this one. It's going to look crazy at first, but there you go. All right, so you guys can see my shark shout outs. Let's see if I can make these a little bigger. Awesome. All right. So this week, first off, we've got Keith Johnson. Keith Johnson sold a $1,000 logo redesign. Congratulations, Keith. That's freaking awesome. Logo design, that's one of those things. That's like one of those little side jobs that you can pick up here and there, right? Somebody needs a logo. I don't know how Keith did his logo, if he's a designer, if he did it himself, if he outsourced it. I've used a place called Logo Nerds quite a bit, and then just like they've done the work, and then I've just sort of marked up the price. They're super affordable. So way to go, Keith. Congratulations. Dorn, our boy Dorn, the Megalodon, picked up a BJJ client, $24.97 a month, doing social, reputation, and limited PPC. Congratulations, Dorn, crushing it as always. Jocelyn Wing, back from her vacation, picking up right where she left off, crushing it, finished her second mailer with a link to her agency Growth Machine sites. Way to go, Jocelyn. I mean, the first one is big. The second one, that's awesome too. So keep up that momentum. James, I was so excited to see this in the Facebook group. Like, actually, I was having kind of I wasn't feeling the best about my day. And then I came across this post on Facebook and I was like, oh my God, this just like, it warmed my heart and made me happy. It got me pumped for the day. And that was James finished his first mailer. So James finished his first mailer with 12 ads and 2 affiliate offers. So congratulations, James. I know it was like an up and down ride, like getting clients, and then some people pulled out and had to go find new people, but you hung in there, man, and you did it. And that's awesome. So way to be a shark. Way to get that first mailer done. Big shout out to Shannon. Also, Shannon, he has a current client. He started 2 new businesses and hired him to do SEO for them while doubling their business sales and revenue. So congratulations, Shannon. Getting some SEO clients out there. And then Nash, my man Nash, completed his first 9x12 mailer, had it printed and mailed out. Awesome job, Nash. Excited to see you there. Now, not everybody shared revenue stuff in their posts, but of the people that did share revenue, that's a little over $3,400 in closed business that our sharks had from last week. So really awesome to see that. Make sure you go to that post. Go to offlinesharks.com/shoutouts. Tell them congratulations. At the end of the stream, we will pull a few people out there and give them some.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Our guest in the background is like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, this is pandemonium. It's kind of like a morning radio show. It's kind of like a morning. I almost gave away his name right then. I almost said your name. I'm not going to ruin the surprise. Awesome. All right. So here, let me fire this down. And I wanted to just take a few quick minutes because I know the theme of our live show is about working from anywhere, right? So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things because, as you know, I left Maui on June 1st to come to Nevada. I'm staying here for 6 weeks. So I'm in Summerlin, Nevada right now. I had to be able to do all the work stuff while I was here, right? So I wanted to just talk to you guys a little bit about the stuff I brought, what has been working amazingly, and what hasn't really been working at all. And then if you guys have any suggestions on things or things that work for you, you can do that. Then we're going to bring out our guests. So this won't take too long. So a couple of things. One is, for the agency side of things, right? For prospecting, doing all that stuff, really just need a laptop and a good phone connection, right? Maybe a good headset, good earbuds to go with your phone so you're not hurting your neck, and a quiet place to work. So, from the agency side of things, pretty straightforward, right? To be able to do prospecting from wherever you're at. Pull up a list. We can start doing some dialing, some emails, all that stuff. I like to have a second monitor when I work. So I did, here, I'm going to take my phone off of this thing here. I'm going to show you guys this. Here we go. So this is the second monitor that I bought before I left. So this is a Lapao monitor. I looked them up online. It's super, I don't know if you can see this, but it's super, super thin. And it's got almost like an iPad case cover that comes with it. So it was really easy. Like it's maybe about the thickness, maybe a little thinner than the laptop. So like I could just lay it right on top of the laptop and slide it in the laptop compartment. But this thing has been great. So that's what I'm using as my second monitor. I picked up this little ring light thing at a Saks Fifth Avenue outlet, and it's working okay. Like it holds the phone and gives me a little bit of extra light. I always like to bring an external mouse. I can't stand using this trackpad. It drives me crazy. So I brought an external mouse, and then I brought my microphone so I could do these lives and also do the podcast. This is one of the things that I would not take with me next time. Like this thing is it's pretty bulky, right? What I did pick up while I was here are these little Rode Go microphones. And I really love these things so far. And you could actually use one of the microphone part of this. It comes with a little windscreen. Like I could use this to record my podcast, and then I don't need to bring this. And this is much smaller. So I'm glad I got these. I will not be traveling with this microphone anymore because I don't need it, right? For my camera, I'm just using my iPhone, and I'm using an app called Ecamm. Is it Ecamm? Epoch Cam? I don't know. It's a little $8 app It works really great. Allows you to use your iPhone as a webcam. And then I did buy one other thing two other things to bring with me. This is something I definitely was a waste. I bought this Newfi keyboard. It's like I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but it's like it's a mechanical keyboard, so it makes really like big clicks, when you click on it. Here, let me show it to you. So it makes really big clicks when you click on it, which I really wanted. And it's designed to just lay over the keyboard that's on your MacBook Pro. So you literally just set this here. Let me take it off of here. You literally just set this keyboard right here on top of the existing keyboard, and it kind of locks. Hey guys, sorry, it disconnected me, but I'm back. Can everybody hear me and see me? Yeah. Whoops. But just as you know, I'm not a technical genius. Yeah, I think it was the keyboard. It definitely did it. Awesome. Here, I'm gonna put this back on here so we can bring out our guest. But I wanted to share that stuff with you so you guys could see kind of what I was doing, what was working for me, what wasn't. Keyboard, definitely a waste of money. There we go. Ooh, all right. Awesome. Okay. All right. So cool. Let's talk about and bring out our guest. Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm glad I'm back. Cool. All right. So I want to get our guest out here because we have some, we've been sending out some emails over the past few days. We've been promoting a product that they just launched. We had his business partner on not too long ago on the live, but we've never had him on the live. And, I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him a few times in person at a mastermind events that we go to. He's one of the guys behind Reputation Loop, which they recently sold to a bigger company in Silicon Valley. So now he's kind of building out some other things, ton of experience in local marketing, and really just a great source of knowledge about not only building and growing an effective business, also how to build one to sell, but also just local marketing in general. So I'm going to bring our guest out, Mr. Zach Anderson. How's it going, Zach?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. You watching me bumble through all that technology stuff there?
I was like, hey, maybe I can sneak from the backstage out in and take over while you're on the black death screen. I have the black death screen happen every once in a while too, so I get it.
Well, you know what? I set that keyboard on the thing and I think it cut off my tab. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So yeah, man, so you and Ben launched a product here recently, you and Dr. Ben Atkins. How's it been going?
Are you talking about Text Connector?
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's going really, really well. I am such it's funny that, I've watched a couple of your shows and stuff like that. And it's just really interesting because, I've not met a customer in person in probably nearly 20 years in like 3 different niches, in industries, whatever it may be. And a lot of the stuff that I build is all designed around that. Like even teaching my customers in my local agency of how to streamline things and don't waste your time by actually having to go places to be able to really truly work from everywhere else. And that was kind of one of the concepts behind the Text Connector. It's like, okay, the way I look at it, I don't know if you talk about this very often, but a website is like a storefront, right? if you think about it this way, if you're going to a website, it's like a representation of the business. So like imagine if you walked into, like, for example, a chiropractor's office, and there's a bunch of stuff going on in the background, but there's no one at the front desk and no one helps you, right? They're like, and you're just like, what do you think's going to happen to the business? It's going to die. Websites are so much similar to that. And I can sit here and Google search all day long, and I can go to website after website after website. Yeah, they may have a phone number. They maybe have a chat that's not manned or whatever it may be. But there's no way for visitors to communicate directly with the business on the fly right there, and then be able to leave the site and continue on with a conversation. So that's kind of where the concept of Text Connector came from. It's like, okay, let's create a chat style of bot, that's on the thing, but it's not for like regular chat where you have to go online and when a visitor leaves, you don't have their contact information. Let's connect it directly to the business owner's phone or some text messaging service that they use, so that they actually can not be so dependent on phone calls and all those types of things, and can kind of be on the go, yet still communicating with people that have questions. So that's kind of where the whole concept came from on Text Connector, and really allowing not only me as what I do be able to work from anywhere, but them also being able to work from anywhere and be able to still generate new business as they should be doing. So that's kind of the concept of where it came from.
Yeah, that's super interesting that you said that, because I never really I didn't make that connection in my head that like when somebody comes to your you walk, if I walk in a store and there's nobody around and I'm standing there, like I freaking get irritated, right? Like what is up with this place? Yeah. And I never really thought about that connection. It is that same way with the website. Like you land on a website, like it's just like walking in the front door of that business and what is going on. Like, man, Zach, that just that one little shift in thinking, like all of a sudden I'm looking at websites going, holy cow, like there's so many things people are missing. Like so much they're not doing when somebody comes there, like that. Now, when you think of it in those terms, it seems crazy that they're not doing it.
It's literally how I sell this type of a plugin to a business. I just explain that story to them, and they're like, you're right. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing. Like, one of my most irritating things on the planet is when I walk into a restaurant and there's no one at the whatever, the kiosk or whatever where you make your, and I'm like, what's going on? So it's that same concept. Like when I get to a website, I don't want to really chat with somebody on a two-way chat, because that's annoying, because you never know if you're going to get it. But if I see someone's got a text-enabled website, I'm like, perfect. I'll fire a text and just be on my way. I can then go back and do whatever I was doing on all those other websites, because then you don't have to sit around. Because I've done this so many times where I have an issue, I go on, I start their chat, I start talking to them. It's usually always customer service stuff. And then I forget and the chat ends up closing. So I have to start the whole thing over again. So I'm like, okay, let's figure out a way to remove that problem. And that's how you're taking the chat into a text thread, which it's a live, living, breathing thing. So that's the whole concept around it. That's simple.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, and you can have your team run those things too, right? Like,
oh god, yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be the owner per se. Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
We built it in a way where you can put any phone number in there, so you can connect it to any online text messaging platform. So it doesn't need to actually go to the owner's cell phone or the receptionist's cell phone or whatever. You can dial that into a text messaging platform that allows you to then be able to communicate on the go and have a cool little widget that you don't really have to spend tons of money on or anything like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I want to talk to you a little bit too, because I remember, so one of the things I remember when we first met was, I think it was in Arizona. We first met in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I remember I brought my MacBook Pro there, and you were looking for like the small, you were like, oh, I was like, I love my MacBook Pro. And you're like, dude, I'm looking for something small. I want something smaller, because I don't know if you were traveling more at the time or whatever. Yes. So what are some tips, some suggestions you could give people that are listening to this on how to how to effectively be able to do that. Like, what do you take with you that allows you to, run your business, do the things that you need to do, but still doesn't like load you down?
So I'm completely 100% mobile. Like, I mean, like to a 10th degree. I did finally find one. I got the brand new M1 Air. So I have an M1 Air, but funny you say it, I do have the M1 Air, but I have a big 34-inch ultra wide monitor that I attach it to
Yeah.
so that I can have like 3 screens basically. I had the curved one originally, but the way I've built my business is I can literally take this laptop, throw it out the window, and it can be dead. Walk into a MacBook store and be up and running in like 5 minutes with my entire business, or my phone. I can lose it and be up and running in like 5 minutes to run my entire business from wherever I'm at in the entire world. So I've done everything. Nothing is on this MacBook Pro. Not a thing is on it. I don't ever save anything on my desktop, nothing in the downloads, nothing in anywhere. I mean, I'll do it in the downloads and then move it. So I set my MacBook up where I use Google Drive and I use Dropbox. And that's the way that I, store files, and I use Dropbox for different types of things versus what Google Drive, I use those for like living, breathing documents. For Dropbox, I use files. That's where I keep my PDFs, ebooks, all that type of stuff, And then every service that I use is all online based. So I use Slack for communicating with my customers, or excuse me, my team. I use, my help desks, obviously online as well. So basically I'm always being able to move. So when I travel, which I do a lot, I haven't been able to much because of COVID. All I need really is, it gets down to the point where all I really need is my phone. But if I have to like do stuff, like actually like cut a video or something like that, all I need is my MacBook. I don't bring like what you brought. Like I don't bring mics and all that type of stuff. I'm like, AirPods is good enough for me. It's like, that's kind of where I'm at. And then I always bring a backup, this little guy here that I can plug into it. And literally that's it. I mean, since it opened back up, I've gone on 2 vacations in the last month and a half. And literally I'm just sitting by the pool and I can pretty much do everything from here because I have team members set up to do all the other stuff. So I have like Slack on here and I'm just like taking screenshots, of anything I do, set it back down, hang out with my family, and I'm on my way. I don't really talk to my customers like per se on the phone or anything like that. So there's no real requirement for me in that side of the equation. So I'm like really, really mobile. And like back when you saw me in Arizona, that's what I was trying to find the littlest thing I could have that had a nice, powerful enough to be able to do the things I do. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then I've got a MacBook, I got 2 iMacs at my house, and so then when I get to my house, I just shut my computer down, the little laptop, and I just work on my iMacs because I like the big screens. So everything's synced together, yet nothing's on the computer. So it doesn't matter where I go. And like, I've even gotten to the point where I have an extra iMac that I'll like take if we're going somewhere and staying like where you're at for a long time. I'll just ship it out there and have it there with me. So I don't have to buy another ultra wide monitor or something like that and just daisy chain them together and hook them up that way. If I'm doing a permanent long time, like month-long stay or something.
Yeah, well, this is the first time that I've ever went anywhere and stayed for this amount of time, right? Like, never been able in the past to just go somewhere and hold up for 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So there are, like looking back on the thing, like I didn't realize how dependent I became on 2 monitors until I was trying to do something on my one, just on my laptop, and I was like, oh my God. And then I'm getting older, my eyesight's not good. I have this big screen at home, and like, I just love it, But it's funny that you mentioned that about the iMacs, because I was just in the Apple store the other day and I was like,
I'm getting one.
I was
I'm
like,
getting
I
one
should
of
just
the
freaking buy one. I was like, I should just buy one and put it up.
Yeah, they're super cool because of just the way that I have my setup. They're big enough monitors that I can do split, browsers, and then do real big stuff when I want to do editing and things like that. I've gotten really used to the little MacBook, the little Air I have. So I'm comfortable now just kind of working off that all together. Like this morning, I just like when you texted me earlier saying, hey, can you come on? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I was actually in Ace Hardware parking lot responding to someone on Slack, and I hadn't even made it into the office yet because I had to get my oil changed this morning. So I was literally working in the, in the little area, the waiting area, all morning long, waiting for my oil to change, which took like an hour and a half. I have a big F-250. Maybe they had to put way more oil than normal in, but I was like, come on, Jiffy Lube, hurry up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me see if we have any questions here. Let me look down the comments. I saw lots of good comments about Text Connector. Oh, by the way, if you guys, so we put together a little bonus package for Text Connector, and we've been mailing out. I'll put a link here. Actually, we can just let it scroll by the bottom. That's all right. It doesn't matter. Here, I'm going to put this link up here. If you guys, oh, hold on. Let me edit this. Let me make it so it scrolls so it doesn't take up the screen there. Here we go. So if you guys, if you want to check out our bonus package for Text Connector, just go to that link, offlinesharks.com/text. You'll see our bonuses there. They're delivered instantly. You guys will love it. It's a great product. You and Ben did a great job on this too. And now I can't stop thinking about going and buying an iMac.
Hey, no, I literally, when I saw those new, because I'm not kidding you, I own 3 iMacs. 3 27-inch iMacs that I just have littered around places, and some of them are like 10 years old and they still just work amazingly well. Because another reason why my machines last so long, guys, is I don't keep anything on them. So think about it, like, how they start to slow down. I don't care what kind of computer it is. The older they get, the more stuff you put on there or load on there. If you don't keep anything on your computers, they'll last longer. They really, really honestly do. But I saw the new iMacs. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to get me 1 or 2 just because I like new stuff. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say there?
I totally forgot. What did I start it out with? I was talking
about Text Connector and the bonuses.
Oh yeah. And I don't remember why, but
we'll think of it. We'll think of it later.
It'll come back.
This live show, like, hey, this is a live show. We just kind of sort of sit, hang out, and it goes how it goes. Actually, one of the things that I want to do, because I meant to do this before I brought you out here, but I want to do this, is every week we celebrate a member of the week here in the Offline Sharks community. It's somebody who's just being a good steward of our Facebook group and, out there participating, helping out, doing all that stuff. And we send them some Offline Sharks swag, shout them out here on the live show. So I want to do that real quick because, oh yeah, here we go. Here is our member of the week, and really excited to see this member of the week. And like I said earlier, to see what he did this past week, because it was like, here, let me just tell you who the member of the week is. So our member of the week this week is Mr. James Eck. And Zach, James started a mailer a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. He sold a bunch of spots, and then like 2 or 3 of the businesses pulled out for whatever reason. And he was like back at square one. And so it's like, it has been this up and down battle, but man, he freaking powered through and just kept moving forward. And he filled all the spots. So it was really awesome to watch. I know there were some down days in there, James, but you held up, you did it. And that's really what building a successful business is all about. Like, I'm sure Zach will tell you the same thing, right, Zach? It's that not quitting. I mean, think of all the stuff you've been through, right?
I could probably tell you about 5 things that just happened today that have just been nightmares and sideways and this and that and the other thing. I mean, I own 3 SaaS platforms, a marketing agency. I have a huge barn. There's always something going sideways. I think, it's kind of like they say you don't make it until you actually have a lawsuit against you. It's kind of that same kind of concept, right? You have to, you got to go through the life. And the thing is, you can't let it, it's like a duck, you got to just let it go off your back. Because, I mean, if I let things bother me or had those issues, and I would never be there. I kind of enjoy like that craziness because it actually makes the team perform better. You learn more, you figure stuff out. I always take everything as learning experience. It's like, what did I do in that moment? What caused that issue? How can I fix that so it doesn't happen again? So that's kind of like my concept of failure. Fail fast, fire fast, hire fast, and fail fast. Right? Those are the 3 that I always like hold true to my my thinking when I'm dealing with my business.
Yeah, that's awesome. James, congratulations. Way to be member of the week. Somebody from the team's going to reach out to you. If you guys could let James know in the stream of this live, like, hey, congratulations, we'd love that. And again, it was really awesome to see that. You know, you mentioned it's so funny. I was just telling my wife the other day, she came to me with something and I was like, how come you never come to me with good news? Like, how come every time, like, because she was like, she walked in, heard my oldest daughter went shopping, and she was like, the car's making some funny sound. I'm like, well, I need a little more information. Like, what kind of funny sound? Like, what do you mean by funny sound? I was like, it's doing something weird. I was like, oh,
my wife did the exact same thing to me the other day. She knows that she's not supposed to like communicate to me in the morning because my prime hours of working where I can get the most work done is like between 7:30 and around 1:30 or 2. And she literally, I'd get in the office and she literally did the same thing. Barrage me for like 6 things, like Gator's not working, this isn't working. I'm like, I stop derailing me. Leave me alone. Figure it out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep that focus. You know, one of my, and I think this is especially true when you're traveling, like when you're trying to work and do your business from other places, like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on around you, right? There's going to be, you know, things you want to do with your, like here when I'm in Nevada, like there's things I want to do with my family, like still got to work your schedule. Like you got to fit all that stuff in. Things come up, like there's all kinds of things, right? I remember, you know, there's a story about Gary Halbert, and I want to say it's John Carlton. One day, John Carlton comes into Gary's office, and like they're going to work on a project for a client, and John Carlton sits down, and like all of a sudden, the secretary bursts through the door, and she's like, the printer's broken. She's like rattling off all these things. So and so's on the phone. Such and such is looking for their check, like. And John Carlton is like, oh man, he's like getting ready to leave. He's like, well, I guess we're not working today, you know? And Halbert is like, sit down. And he tells the secretary to go out, and he like shuts the door and he just locks it. And John Carlton's like, what are you doing? He's like, look, our job right now is to bring in the money. Like that's our job. Like all of those problems are going to be fixed when the money comes in. So, you know, we're not going to deal with any of that. We're going to sit here and we're going to do what we need to do for this client to get the money. And they call it Operation Money Suck, right? I think about that a lot because especially when you're traveling, like you have to build in that focus time to be able to just sit there and focus on bringing in the money, right?
Yep,
whether you do it before you leave or you get here. Yeah,
that's super important. That's actually one of the things I teach to a lot of my customers and stuff. I call it the Sunday framework, Sunday playbook, whatever you want to call it. I have a very specific way about how I deal with my weeks. And first off, like one of the most important things you can do as an entrepreneur is you need to find out when is your optimal time of working. Like I know where I can get 3 times more stuff done during this certain time frame of a window. And so I know when that is. Some people it's in like Ben Atkins, Dr. Ben Atkins, he loves to work in the middle of the night. And so he can bang out a lot of stuff and he does that a lot. Where I'm the most optimal is like between, you know, if depending on when I get up, but it's usually like right from when I get up to around 2, I can literally go nonstop, heads down, like super highly focused. And so my entire family, even my, my employees know, like, don't bother me during that time with stupid stuff, like, because I'm like getting like the core things done. And honestly, I leave it to, every day I just stop working at 2 because I've found if I work the way I do and just focus, I don't eat lunch, nothing until after 2. If I then go back to work, I'm not really productive. It's like a waste. So I just do hyper focus for like 6 hours or whatever that time frame is, be done. And then I just recheck in at like after dinner, you know, before I go to, you know, after we're done dinner and sitting down, doing whatever it does. But I always teach everyone, like, find your focus time and then tell everybody that's your focus time. And don't let distractions occur because you'll be able to get so much more done, and you'll see your business just skyrocket because you'll be happier. You're like, wow, I did what I wanted to do, and I had that time.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And like I know for me, like I like to just get up and get stuff done in the morning anyway, because then you can do like, I don't have to feel bad about goofing off the rest of the day. Like I would like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily like, I don't think I thought like, oh yeah, getting up early and starting to work early was something I looked forward to, but like, I liked the side effects of it, right? Like The side effects of doing that are that I can get a lot of stuff done by noon, more than a lot of other people. And then I can just sort of do what I want the rest of the day. And I don't have to, feel bad about like, oh, well, did I do that? Like I'm just getting stuff done. So yeah, I think that approach is super good.
And it really helps when you start traveling a lot, like when you're really truly doing the mobile working type of thing. Because when I'm actually, when I went to Arizona, I wake up really early as it is anyway. So all I would do is I'd get up at like 5:30, and I would just go, and I don't drink coffee. I'd just go down to whatever and get something that's not caffeinated. And I just sit there and work until the kids got up, and they're 12 and 14. So sometimes that's like 10 o'clock. So I can get my entire day done and then go out and play the rest of the entire time, and just keep my phone with me and just doing the random things that I need to do as I go. Because my entire family knows that obviously I've been an entrepreneur for like 25 years. It's a different person. Work is not like atypical. It's like you're kind of always working, so and they're all used to it. So they don't give me crap anymore or anything like that. But it's really about being really over communicative to your family, so they understand what you're doing, even during vacation, and no one gets upset. So we set ground rules for everything that we do, especially when we start going on long vacations.
Yeah, we do the same thing. And you're right, that is super critical. Like if you have if you're trying to run a business and you have a partner out there, it's really important that you talk to them about what it is when you're working. Cause I know like we take it for granted. Like we know we're working when we're sitting in front of the computer, but when you consider that the majority of other people, when they're sitting in front of a computer, are goofing off, when they see you sitting in front of a computer, they just assume you're goofing off, all right? Because like that's what they do. Check their email, go to Facebook. Like I think having those ground rules, laying that stuff out is really important. Like I have this one about the lives on like the whole family knows on Friday from 12 to 1, like we don't come down to where dad's at doing the live, right? Because I don't have an office here. Like I'm actually just sitting in the dining room doing this, right? So but that communication is super, super key. Hey, I wanted to pull out this question real quick and have you answer it. So Sandy was asking, do you need Twilio to use Text Connector?
No, the way that we built this, and I'll try to not get too technical on you guys. So basically what iOS and Android apps have is there's HTML code that you can put literally on any website that when you click on it, it's kind of like when you click on a link, it takes you to a web page, right? Well, there's specific code that when you click on it, it will open up the native app on an iPhone or open up the native app on an an Android phone, so that it will actually load the text message in there. So when you put the phone number in the back end of the text connector, it can be your cell phone, it can be your Skype line, it can be your Google phone, it can be any other text messaging platform. All it's going to do is load up that phone number that it's sending the message to automatically, and then add any kind of text into it as well. So no need for anything. Literally, this is such a simple standalone. It's actually too simple. I mean, it's like, why aren't more of these out here? I have no idea. Oh, and I remembered what I was about to say before I got cut off. I've had this text connector for over a year. I built this over a year ago. And I've just been, playing around with it, using it with my customers and things like that. And Ben's like, oh, that's why are you holding on to that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, let's sell it. Okay. So that's how it kind of came to fruition. So I've actually been using it for a long time. And that's why it's so stable and works so effectively.
Yeah. Those are the best tools. The ones that you develop for your own business usually tend out being the best tools, right? Look, somebody said they love your hat. They said
yeah. So it's so funny that he says about the wife. My wife has tried to throw this thing away. I'm like, this is the best hat on the planet. When like a little like fuzzy. I mean, this takes years. Yeah. I think this is like 4 years old. So she's learned she can't throw away my hats. I have another hat that's got like a big stain on the back, and I'm like, nope, don't throw away my hat.
That's great. So Frankie said, so do you have to be on a mobile device for this to work?
Nope. So basically the way we built it is you can turn on and off the desktop, But the way about desktop works is, so like if I'm on a Mac and if I pull up the site that's got desktop enabled and I click on text us here, it's going to try to open up just the messaging tab, because you know how you can do iMessage on your Macs. That's how that works.
Yep.
And so, but you can turn it off if you want to. You know, you can turn it off so it only shows up on mobile. But you know, it's really me personally, I just keep it on mobile, because unfortunately, sometimes if someone goes to a website and they maybe not technically understand it, and there's a button there and they click on it, it doesn't do what it's supposed to because they don't understand how to open up a Messenger app. That's why I usually just keep it on mobile, because honestly, I mean, I do a lot of advertising on Facebook and I look at my stats. It's like 82% is mobile traffic. So, and I don't know what like traffic is these days. I'm sure you probably are more familiar with this and how much just traditional traffic. It's probably in the 60 plus range at this point that's on mobile.
Yeah.
So, you know, I keep it on mobile only.
Awesome. There's a couple of other questions I saw too. One said, somebody said, can you connect it to WhatsApp?
Doesn't WhatsApp have a phone number? Isn't that how WhatsApp works?
I don't know. I've never, this is going to be amazing, but I've never used WhatsApp.
I haven't either, so don't feel bad. There's been a lot of people
like,
ask me.
I wouldn't even know.
For being an internet marketer, not knowing what WhatsApp is, I guess that's a flaw in our.
Yeah. I turned my light off because I don't know if it was making the screen fuzzy or what. But anyway, okay. So one other thing I want to do, we want to give away some Cash App money. So let me scroll down here and find a question. Let me think of a good question. Okay, all right. This might be an easy one. You're gonna have to be fast because I've said this a few times, so you guys you're gonna know this. All right. So here's $25 Cash App money to the first person. Actually, let's do the first two people. The first two people. Well, actually, let's do this. The first person that can tell me what state I'm in. So what state am I currently in?
Can I answer?
No, you can't answer, Zach.
Because I know this one.
You're like, no, I know. But people putting Kevin because that was one time. Oh, I think I saw Patty. Well, let me look. Hold on. Let me make sure.
There is lots. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Here was the first one.
Oh, someone
Kristen.
was saying where I'm from. How did they know?
How did they know that?
I don't know. They must
So it looks
know
like
me.
the first winner was Kristen, and then second, we'll give it to two. The second was Patty. So congratulations, Kristen and Patty. You guys have some Cash App money coming your way. You know what? What the heck? Let's play the song. I love this song.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money,
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Cheating, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Yeah. So Zach, we had that song, and one time Nick was like, dude, I can't stand that song anymore. He's like, we need a different song. So we took it out of the show, and like people were like, where's the money song? So then we added it back, and we added a graphic.
Want to know the funniest thing about that song? The first time you played it and I heard the first guy laughing, I thought that was you.
Jacqueline.
I don't know how, I can't do it. I'm not very good at mimicking things, but I was like, is that Tom?
Yeah, Jacqueline, who is on here, swears that it's me at the beginning of the song, but it's not.
I think
it's
as
not.
well.
It's not me. It's not me. It's not me. So, a couple questions for you, Zach. So one is, what are you mainly focusing on in your agency right now? Like, I mean, I know that the text connector thing, but what services do you mainly focus on with clients?
I am only doing text stuff right now. Like literally, I shouldn't say that. I own 3 different software platforms, and basically I've completely stripped out all of my SEO clients. I'm just done with it. So my agency has been around for over 10 years, and I mainly used to just do SEO and reputation for dentists. about a year and a half ago, I decided I want to stop SEO. And so I've just slowly kind of peeled them off. And I'm finally just let the last one, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. So I'm completely out of that because I don't like that type of service. I like services that are just immediate results. That's kind of like my main focus. I want to be able to do something that's very simple for me to implement utilizing software and automation. And when they use it, it's immediate results. And so right now I'm doing a lot of two-way text messaging. We have a platform that does, text messaging for offers, like generating offers that tracks revenue. And our recent one that no one really knows about because we just launched it is we're building website templates that are niche specific. Well, the first one is just an agency website template builder that you can literally build a website in a minute, and it's full blown with content, blog posts, the whole nine. We're building out now niche specific ones, and so what I'm going to start moving into is I'm going to start offering website development again to customers, but it's only going to be my templates, and so they're fully mobile forward, mobile first kind of deal. And I can build a new, like a chiropractor's website in like a minute and a half. Totally done, totally ready to go, out the gate, has blogs that get auto loaded into it, the whole nine. And it's just basically, we use these SPAs, which is single page applications. I don't know if you know this, but this is kind of the way of where life is going. I hate it when I get to a customer, like a website, when I'm looking for like a chiropractor or something like that, and they've got like so much information on there that you're overwhelmed, and then you don't actually do anything or make anything. So we're building these sites that are all single page applications. So there's just one page, very basic, very simple. And the goal is conversion. And so I'm basically offering text messaging and website development, but from a template standpoint right now.
I think that's super smart, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about a couple of things there too, like, things that can get immediate results. That's always really good. Like we talk a lot about in Offline Shark Sack about activity-based services versus results-based services, right? Where, like, especially when you're trying to get track, I don't know. I always say like, oh, especially when you're new. But the reality is, even when you're not new, even when you're have an agency that's got traction and you're growing, like you're always looking for ways to deliver a better experience to your customers, right? And a lot of times, or to be able to work with clients that you don't want headaches, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? Like, what are the things I can do that provide me with the least amount of headaches? And activity-based things like you're talking about where, the person pays you because you're building the site, and then you give them the site, and that's the end of that transaction, right? I think they're just the ones that have the least amount of headaches in them compared to results-based services, which are still great. Like, it's good to do results-based services. Nick does a lot of SEO. Like, we do a lot in our agency. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. They're just different approaches, right?
They are completely different approaches. Yeah.
Different approaches. And they take different skill sets, so, when you're dealing with a results-based type service, you're going to spend a little more time, talking clients down off a cliff. Like, you're going to have those conversations, but as long as you know that that's part of the deal, right? Like, that's part of the deal, then you're prepared for it. And you can do that as well. So here's a question from Raving Metrics. She said, so when you strip out clients, are you outsourcing or actually cutting off the relationship? Like, you're handing them off to somebody else, or you're just cutting off the relationship?
Cutting off the relationship. So I don't actually ever do any of this stuff in my agency. I have I have two Filipinos that have literally been with me for over 10 years. They communicate with my customers, all that type of stuff. It just got to the point where I'm like, you know what, this is not my focus. And they all pay me between $1,000 and $2,000 a month for the local SEO. I just said, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. Because, I get to a certain point and I don't want to take people's money for no reason. I mean, even though I still can provide the service, it's a distraction because like it is results based. So guess what I have to do every other month or something like that? I have to get on a call for an hour or whatever, go over stuff. And I'm like, I just don't want to do that. I just need to focus on service-based businesses or service style, like activity-based, where they pay me a lower dollar figure, up to like $300 a month, and they just consume my product. And I don't really care. I don't have to talk to them. I don't have to do anything. I give them training videos. They're off for the races, and that's it. So I've totally stripped my model to that real like heavy intensive where I'm doing higher end stuff back down to like this, here's $300 a month, type of service that's just activity based. There's no results attached to it.
Yeah, but I mean that stuff is valuable, and and when we say there's no when we say there's no results attached to it, it doesn't mean it doesn't deliver results.
It does
for your client. Like it's just the results aren't tied to why they're paying you. Another a clear example of that we have in Offline Sharks that we've been talking about on this as well is the mailer, because the mailer, the person's paying you to print this thing and mail it out, right? They're not paying you based on the number of customers they get in from it. So that's kind of what we mean, the difference between activity and results based. It doesn't mean your activity service doesn't deliver results. It can deliver amazing results, fantastic results. It's just that the results aren't what ties you to getting paid. That makes sense.
Here's a perfect example. So one of our customers is using one of my pieces of software that is really integrated through text messaging and automated call stuff. And literally I was talking to him the other day, because it's kind of a friend, and so I actually do have conversations with him, and he shared with me, he's like, that your software in the last 6 months has generated $180,000 in new revenue. I'm like, maybe I should be charging you more. But so it is definitely results based, but it's not driven about that. It's like, that's what I love about SaaS. It's, software as a service. They're literally just licensing my stuff to use. I'm not saying what it's going to do. It's just using the product. It's kind of like Facebook. You just get on. It's free, but you're just using it, right? And that's kind of where my whole entire business has gone over the last year and a half or so. Just all focused on that and got rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I know. Let's see. Let me look through and see if we have any other questions here. And then we're probably going to wrap this baby up. Oh, here's a good one. Henry said, "What would be the best way to sell Test Connector?" Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Just do my pitch. Like, your website is a storefront, right? And if people are going to your website and there's no one there to communicate, it's like them walking into your brick and mortar and having no one at the front desk. You're losing, your website's leaking business because you're not. This is one thing. The number one rule in business is meet your customers where they are at, not where you want them to be. Like, let that sink in for a moment. We know absolutely everybody on the planet has a cell phone. Like my mom, who never had a cell phone, who's 76, has an iPhone now. She actually texts me. Everybody on the planet texts, and the conversations are not customer service based style of conversations. They're questions on how they're buying questions. So explaining to a business owner that you don't adopt to the new way, you might as well call it a day, because one, you need to make sure you're meeting your potential customers where they are currently at. And two, you need to make sure you treat your website like a storefront so that people can communicate on their own terms with you in real time. That's kind of how my whole pitch goes when I talk to people. And it closes itself when you kind of explain it that way.
Yeah, I think that's so good. Like, I meant that at the beginning of the live. Like, I hadn't made that connection, and when you made that connection, and I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like just looking at things in that way changes everything you would do about a website. Like, imagine and then I started thinking about, oh well, what are the really great sites that I like, or people I do business with that I enjoy doing business with? It's like, oh yeah, their sites have those things you're talking about. Like, I don't just go there and I'm just wandering around. Like, they show me where to go, or there's things that tell me what to do. Like, it's it takes literally two. Then this is where the whole thing is. It takes me 2 seconds. So like, my software has a different one, has a mobile app associated with it. So like, I could be literally like, today when I get done with this call, I'm going to go pick up my wife. We're going to go out to our beach house, and I'll just keep this with me.
And I always answer. I don't let I take the sales calls, not calls, texts. I just sit there. I've closed so many deals over my cell phone. It's ridiculous, and never had to talk to anybody. I mean, it works. And I'm like, it's just literally that simple. And I always ask people, I'm like, when was the last time you actually bought something from a chat bot? Never, right? No one's ever got on and, the two-way chat. But how many times have you potentially bought something via text message? Me personally, I do it all the time because that's my preferred form of communication. I hate picking up the phone and talking to people. I mean, I like talking to people, but I don't like getting stuck on the phone because I'm busy. I'm like focused and concentrated. The only time I talk to people on the phone is when I'm driving from my office to my house. Because I don't got nothing to do.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, man, Zach, listen, it's been great having you on the live. I appreciate you jumping in at the last minute and coming here. I know it was like super last minute, but it was awesome content. The text connector thing is great. I know the Sharks have been loving it. Again, if you guys want to see the bonuses we have for that, you go to offlinesharks.com/text. I know people were asking about your website thing. I'll talk to Zach. I'll talk to Ben. We'll figure something out, guys. We'll figure something out.
Be quiet. Stay focused. No one knows. Yeah, stay focused. And honestly, stay focused. You guys, it's not even out yet, so I don't even have. So like, we're just using it personally. So it's one of those things. It's a cool piece of software, but we'll talk with Tom and Nick and get with Ben and figure something out on that side of the equation.
Yeah.
Sorry if I overstepped my bounds on that one. I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't at all. You didn't know. It's just like websites are a big thing in our community, and so when you're talking about that, people are like, I knew it. I was like, people are gonna love that because it's a great idea. It's a great model, right? And yeah, I mean, as soon as you guys have something working on that, we'll be excited to bring it to the Sharks and talk to them about it. I got to give away the final Cash App winners, the people that went to the Shark Shoutouts post and left comments. So our winners today are Jacqueline Heath and James Healy. So you guys won. So if you pop your Cash App tags in the stream, the team will get you your prize earnings, or we can reach out to you directly. But congratulations to everybody that won Cash App money today. Zach, thanks again so much for coming on the live show. If you haven't already, go check out our bonuses for Text Connector, offlinesharks.com/text. I'm going to see you guys next week. I'm still going to be here in Nevada. Same Shark time, same Shark channel. Nick will be back with me. I'm sure he's tearing it up in New York right now. So we'll talk to you guys later. Zach, thanks again.
I was talking to Nick the other day. I was talking to Nick on Skype the other day. We were talking about New York. I love New York. But again, thank you for having me. And if you ever need another last minute, I'm always game.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Cool. Well, guys, thanks so much. Stay safe out there. Practice aloha.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly local marketing jam session. Every week, packed full of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube and Tom's podcast at tomgaddis.com. We'll be back here next Friday for another Sharks Live Show. Until then, aloha.